Welcome back, beautiful tri-state area. You're listening to a moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York iHeartRadio. I'm your host, Zen Sams. Up next in our Discover Your Potential segment, brought to you by Body Align, we're joined by contributor, podcaster, and host Anna Devere. Today, she's joined by military veteran turned entrepreneur, Dr. Will Moreland. As the founder of several successful companies, he has traveled the world to impact, inspire, and influence leaders at all levels. As a professional speaker and business coach, Dr. Will has been named a top 30 speaker in the world and named Business Person of the Year by community organizations 5 times. Most recently, he was named one of the top 100 CEOs in Arizona. He's a respected global leader and author of over 50 books. He's worked with organizations, associations, and governments in over 50 countries, over 5 continents. His passion to see individuals excel and succeed in life and business is truly unmatched. They're here today to chat all about personal development, embracing failure, and changing lives. Welcoming now to the show are Anna Devere and Dr. Will Moreland. Welcome, my friends.
Thank you, Zen.
Thank you so much, Zen. I'm super excited about being here with you.
So excited to have you on. All right, I'm going to jump right in. So, Dr. Will, your journey from military veteran to entrepreneur is certainly an incredible one. From what I understand, you grew up fairly sheltered in Compton, California, and it wasn't until you joined the US Army that you really learned just how rich and diverse our world was. And after serving, you embarked on a mission to help individuals unleash their true potential and lead fulfilling lives. Now, looking back, can you share with us the moment you realized that personal development was your calling and how your own journey shaped your approach to life and leadership?
Yeah, definitely. So I got a book. I had enrolled in a college course as it would be a speaking course. And inside this course, one of the classmates there, a lady by named Miss Copeland, she handed me this book. She handed me this book about affirmations and about success. And she says, the good thing about this book, Will, is you can read it over and over and over, and it's going to inspire you. And definitely it did. I started reading this book, and I found out about another book called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And when I read that book, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, I just became enamored with personal development. I was astonished that, wait, literally, I'm not stuck. Like, I can make different choices. And if I made different choices, I would have different results. And so when I read that book, that's when the light bulb went off for me. And I then knew that this is what I wanted to do. This was going to be my passion.
It's wonderful that people have someone like you to help them discover their potential because, according to a study by Oracle, more than 75% of people feel quote unquote stuck in life, both personally and professionally, right? And with respondents reporting that they have felt anxious over their future, felt trapped in the same routine, and felt a general lack of control over their lives. And now, addressing these feelings is one thing, but choosing to move forward and take new steps can be both challenging and scary. And I know Anna has a question pertaining to this, so I'm curious to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, I'm noticing that people are struggling, particularly with losing their jobs and the apparent instability in the job market. Now, I know you're out there talking and motivating people in company culture, but you know, one thing I've noticed is that you talk a lot about failure and embracing failure. So, what are some of your core strategies about failing forward, as it were?
Yeah, I love that concept. It was introduced by John Maxwell, failing forward, right? And when we think about failing forward, it's a perspective that says every failure is an opportunity. Every failure is an opportunity to learn. And so if I reprogram failure not as loss, but as learning, then I can grow from it. And so if you're listening to us and you happen to be one of those individuals, maybe you got laid off or you got fired, stop telling yourself that same story of, oh, I lost my job, and start telling yourself, I've gained an opportunity. When you start telling yourself, I've gained an opportunity, now the universe starts to conspire to help you and lead you to that new opportunity. You got to understand that the situation you're in right now is just a temporary situation. It's not the rest of your life. It's a moment in your life. And a lot of times, Anna, we take a moment and get stuck there and forget that we have a whole life to live.
That's
It takes you
powerful.
takes you back to the old adage of, when one door closes, another one will open, and sometimes things fall apart so other things can come together. Now, it's interesting because going back, we briefly touched on you discovering the beauty and benefits of diversity. You grew up in an environment where you described everyone talked like you, looked like you, and thought like you, and because of this, you had a very closed mindset. You reported, you felt comfortable in your environment, but you were limited, so to speak. However, after joining the U.S. Army, you were exposed to people from all walks of life and new cultures, and clearly taught you a few lessons of your own. You've written extensively on the topic of leadership and the importance of diversity and inclusion in the development of company culture. What are some key takeaways from your book, Seeing the World with New Eyes?
Yeah, so in that book, what I do is I share my story exactly as you just explained. For the first 20 years of my life, I didn't travel more than 20 miles outside of Compton, California. I had never been on an airplane. I had never left the state of California. And so when I joined the military, it was the first time that I got on the airplane. It was the first time I went to a different state. I landed in Kentucky. And so that was a big wide opener for me as well. And so when we talk about diversity and when we talk about seeing the world with new eyes, it's really about exposure. I'm huge on exposure. See, if you don't see anything different, then you can't want anything different. But the moment you start to see something different and get exposed, I share it like this. Have you ever went and rented a car and it was a nice kind of luxury car and you see all the new gadgets in there and then you go back to your car? Well, you're never going to forget that experience of being in that nice rent car. And now all the time you're driving, you're always thinking about that experience, what it would be like to have that type of car. That's what exposure and travel does for you. It opens you up and allows you to see that there's so much more to the world. There's not only 3 flavors of ice cream, chocolate, vanilla, and strawberry. There's even a multiplicity of flavors, and you need to go try all of them.
Dr. Will, I love your positivity. And, one thing that seems sort of, forgive me, seems a little incongruous is this military background. I mean, were there particular challenges in being a military man that informed your style of leadership? Because you are all about the positivity.
Well, definitely. So when I joined the military, one of the things that it did for me was give me structure and give me discipline. And what I found out, people usually look at discipline in the negative way. But for us in the military and for me now in life, I realized that discipline provided freedom. The more disciplined that I am in my life, so when I get up in the morning and I do what I need to do, then I can go do what I want to do. And so being disciplined, I have this thing that I call my 10 before 10. There's 10 things that I need to do every single day to ensure I have a good day. And so after 10 a.m., I'm pretty much done with my day because I've done all the essential things that I needed to do. And now I can go and smell the roses.
Wow.
Wow, yeah, your mindset is quite unique, and having a positive outlook on life is so important. I mean, not only for our mental well-being, but for our physical health. In fact, positive emotions have been linked with better health and a longer life, while negative emotions such as chronic anger and worry and hostility, well, we know for a fact that those increase the risk of heart disease as people react to these emotions with raised blood pressure and stiffening of blood vessels. But it isn't easy to maintain a healthy and positive emotional mindset. So, Dr. Will, having worked with companies in over 50 countries, you clearly have something to teach in the area of mindset. So, walk us through your best tips for creating a positive attitude in situations that would cause most people to unravel.
So definitely you have to understand, people when they talk to me, they have that same perspective. Oh, Dr. Will, you're always positive, you're always smiling, nothing never bad must happen to you. No, it's the contrary. And so you have to practice finding the positive. And so a practice for me is whenever something doesn't go my way, I don't focus on what's not going my way. I look at all the positives in the situation. So for instance, I get a flat tire in the morning. I'm on my way to work. I get a flat tire. Now I can focus on the flat tire, or I can focus on all the other positives. Well, you know what? I'm thankful and grateful that I have 3 other tires. I'm thankful that I have a spare. I'm thankful that I have AAA. I'm thankful that I have a cell phone that I can use to call AAA. I'm thankful that I have a job that I can afford AAA, that they can come out and change my tire, and that I have a job to go to. So in any situation, you can always find the positive, because as you said, Zen, a negative attitude is never going to make any situation better. Now, I'm not saying a positive attitude will change it, but I definitely know a negative attitude is not going to make it better. So whatever situation you find yourself in, take a moment, count to 10, and say, what are the positives here? And start focusing on the positives.
I feel your passion on that. And I really appreciate that, because I think it's a habit, and habits take work. And you've kind of said it, 10 before 10 means it's a habit. And I really appreciate that. And I'm also really drawn to this idea that you talk to, not just groups like the Boys and Girls Club, but NASCAR, the Dubai Entrepreneurs Alliance. There's so much diversity in just the audiences you have. So if you will, what do you find is the core element to helping people discover their potential?
So for me, it's all about remembering that everybody is a human. I've had the opportunity, the pleasure to travel to 50 different countries. I've lived in 5 different countries. And what I've noticed is that at the core, we're all the same. We're all the same. That's the first thing you got to understand. And so when it comes to finding out your potential in life, I know that each and every individual has something to offer. No matter who they are, they have something to offer. All they need to do, like for me, just need someone to disrupt that negative pattern in their mind of saying, you don't mean anything, you don't have nothing to provide to the world. And I come and I disrupt that thinking and let them know, no, you do have something, because you've lived a life and you have something to share. And so for me, it's all about getting people to understand that they have a part to play.
Wow. You Anna and I are both reacting the same way, because
Right.
that's the reciprocation here. But it's clear that you're out there changing lives and implementing the strategies you spoke of today in your own life, and also inspiring others to do the same, to discover their potential and their own unique stroke of genius. But before we wrap up, are there any final thoughts for our audience from the voice of leadership and personal development?
Yeah, so real simple. I have this philosophy and I call it living from your core, CORE. And CORE stands for an acronym: clarity, opportunities, relationships, and experience. First, get clear on the type of life that you really want to live. Once you get clear, go out and look for opportunities to live out that clarity. And then ask yourself, what are the most important relationships to me? And then give yourself to those relationships. Make time for those relationships, invest in those relationships, because at the end of life, the only thing that's really going to matter is those relationships. You're not going to care about what car you drove. You're not going to care about how much money you've earned. You're only going to care about the people that's in your life. And then the E, how do you want to experience life? There are over 200 countries in this world. How many of them do you want to see? There's millions of beaches. How many of them do you want to swim in? Go figure out, how do you want to enjoy and experience this beautiful world that we live in.
I wish I could wake up to your messages every day.
That was fantastic. And with that said, we are out of time. Thank you so much for coming on. It was a pleasure having you as a guest, and listening to you speak is extremely motivational and is prompting me to go discover my next potential.
Thank you.
That was our Discover Your Potential segment, brought to you by Body Align. That was the incredible Dr. Will Moreland. Be sure to check his website out at drwillspeaks.com and morelandtraining.com. And of course, check him out on the gram at Dr. Will Speaks. And of course, to see more of Anna, head directly to discoveryourpotentialshow.com. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. We'll be right back after this.
A Moment of Zen is sponsored by Body Align. Are you ready for a long winter's nap? Over 183 million adults have trouble sleeping at least once a week. That's why Body Align designed a wearable patch that helps you fall asleep faster, wake up feeling refreshed, and comes with a money-back guarantee. Try the Sweet Dreams patch today and get a buy one, get one free pack with the promo code DYP. Visit bodyalign.com and enter DYP at checkout because discovering your potential starts with a great night's sleep. That's bodyalign.com.